Big test for your defense, nation's top passing attack. In what ways do they run something similar to what you saw in Hawaii?
Yeah, you're right. There's some carryover that way. Jesse, you go through it. The quarterback is a fifth-year player, right? He's been there for quite some time. And really it clicked last year in October for him. Well, they played really, really well, went to the bowl game. And you go through, and a guy that old that's seen about everything, rarely does the ball get turned over. They're very, very good in pass protection. You watch them against Texas, and you're thinking, golly, are they ever going to get near this guy? You look at it, they're throwing for about 312, 315 a game. And the other part is they run it really, really well, too. I mean, they have three different backs. Their top three backs average over 5 yards a carry. And no doubt, huge challenge. And they've been incredibly good at home, too.
I believe Egan has 268 straight passes with no interceptions. Is he just that accurate? Guys open? All of the above?
All the above. And there's really not, I mean, I don't want to say it's like 7-on-7, but there's nobody near any kind of delivery that he makes. And again, I mean, you're talking about an old dude that's played a lot of football too.
Scudero, their wide receiver, is the only guy over 1,000 on the season. They use him in a lot of different ways. Motion to one side, reverse him. They hide him behind at the line of scrimmage. He's only 5'9", but he's dominating. What's he doing?
Everything. I mean, you're right. I mean, for a guy to have already over 1,000 yards receiving, playing only 8 games, the other part averaging over 17 yards a catch. So these aren't short little dink throws or bubble screens in order to generate that kind of production. And really all three of the receivers, are really, really good. I think another receiver has like 46 catches. The other guy averages over 18 yards a catch. But Scudero, outstanding player.
You mentioned the Hawaii matchup. In the weeks since then, how do you feel like your defense, particularly the secondary, but past defense as a whole, has maybe grown or changed just having these extra games under their belt and having experience?
Yeah, fair. Are you just better? Are you improved at the details? And I think we are. I know we are. That way. I feel really confident about that. Now, do we still have a ways to go? Most certainly we do. I think anytime you played in a game, you realize whether it's something as just having your inside part of your cleats in the ground, being able to come out of a break right away. On certain routes, being able to stare right at a guy's hip rather than allowing my eyes to kind of glance around a little bit, then I lose him and he gets in what we call our blind spot, over on the side of our eye or on the side of our ear there. And probably the other part too, you're maybe a little more accustomed to the speed of the game. How quickly receivers close cushion and so forth. And more than those, maybe you have a little more confidence too.
Also, slightly different personnel, I would assume. I mean, I don't know what lineups you're going with. Do you feel, some of the switches, have you identified some guys who maybe have the traits to play that spot better than others? Or
can you be specific? Obviously, you got somebody.
Well, Max Mustel is now playing full-time. The corner, who started the freshman corner, I don't know if he's still going to be out.
R.J. Reedus that started 2 weeks ago against. I don't know if he's going to play or not. He did not practice the previous 2 weeks. We'll have a little better idea probably today and tomorrow.
And then the spur as well, is gone from.
True.
That's changed.
Yeah.
So.
I'd say a couple of changes. I think especially maybe a little bit how we've changed the rotation at nickel to a degree. One of the corner spots that you point made, there are probably about 9 spots that are the same. Now, are they the same now that they were 5 weeks ago? Not even close. We have improved. we still have more growth, to say the least, that has to occur. But what a huge challenge for us on both sides of the ball, because you look at it on the other side too. Out of their 11 starters on defense, 10 of them are either in their 4th, 5th, or 6th year. Where else is that the case, even in this day and age of college football? And they're big, they're old, they're thick. They're really good on that side too. I mean, they play the run exceptionally well. I think on third down they're like 37%, and they played some really prolific offenses too.
And as you're bringing along a lot of young players all over the field, playing in so many close games where they're playing 60 minutes, you're playing right up to the buzzer. How does that impact development when every snap really does matter? Yeah,
I mean, you're just really what you're doing is the seeds that you're sowing. I mean, there's even more sunlight and fertilizer. I mean, the whole bit. So true. I mean, the way you grow the most is have to be right in the middle of the foray as much as you possibly can. And when you go back in there on Monday, the learning opportunities that are present, because there are a good number of them that are brand new, even if you tried to bring something up in practice. And so it's invaluable. Nothing replaces experience.
Looking back, how quickly in the snaps that Levi played was he able to kind of get up to speed? And because you do have guys that haven't played a ton of games, the value that he brings to your defense, at least having seen a little bit more.
He has, absolutely, right? I thought he played, I think it was 29 snaps at Utah State, and really most of those snaps were high-quality snaps, and he hadn't played since that game. To have him out there, too, is you have one guy at the corner spot that's either a junior or a senior, just having a little bit older guy that maybe's been around to a degree. It has somewhat of a calming effect, confidence-wise on the others too.
As a coach, how great was it to see Zach Juckle out there? I mean, he's had some problems not being able to be on the field with injuries. To finally see him out there, makes a tackle. For a guy that's fought hard to get back on the football field. Does that make you feel pretty good as a coach watching that struggle?
Absolutely, right. Just because he wasn't able to play at all last year. And I think a little bit the human tendency is if you think, hey, if I go through a stretch where I can't play, whether it's an ACL or something significant injury-wise, his was a lower back last year, you wonder to a degree, when can I really go again? And to his credit, instead of saying, hey, I have to feel perfect, quite the opposite. If there's any way to get in there, I want to make the most of my snaps.
So I may have this wrong, but did you see Liam Zarka play against Cherry Creek in high school in person?
Can I say, yes, sir, I did. And I can tell you a lot about that game, but I'll try to make sure I'm within the right lines because I do respect the guidelines.
Your impressions of him. So
here's what I did. I went to the game, and the reason why I went to the game is I wanted to look at the tight end, Simon Kibbe. And they were playing a really good team that ended up winning it all that year. And Brian Knorr told me, to Brian's credit, he said, you know what, you might want to look at this junior quarterback they have too. And I was like, this dude's a warrior, man. I think, did you see some skill in terms of delivery, in terms of movement? You absolutely did. I mean, you're going to recruit a guy unless he has some ability. But he just felt well. Yeah, and that was during a bye week, and that would have been in 2022. Remember it quite well. Into October. I think it was the last Friday in October in 2022.
Okay. So did you have a hunch this is what you were getting? Because, I mean, obviously this season, you look at his numbers and how much you're trusting him with carries and everything else, like, it speaks for itself. Did you have a hunch based on what you had seen that this was in him this early?
Well, from that game, not solely from that game. I mean, I do think the interaction with the person and the family, I mean, to be fully forthcoming. I think to come at the Air Force Academy and to do good things, the upbringing's a big part of that. And then individually, the human being. You know, just the maturity, the poise. They're darn near fearless. You know, yeah, good stuff.
Is the workload he's been taking, is that sustainable? I mean,
that's a good question too. He has had a good number of carries, and some of those are interior. You know, what does help at time is we do have a good number of our carries that are also out in open space. Now, it's contagious in a really positive way if somebody's getting hard yards. Trust me, those offensive linemen, you don't think that doesn't put some jolt in those guys when you say, the guy that's a quarterback wants to lower his shoulder and yet has the poise to wait till the very last instant before delivering a throw. They know that. And is that instinct? Is that talent? Is that toughness? Is it heart? Or all of those intangibles.
How many times, when a play is sent in, how, I guess if you could ballpark a percentage, do you know he's going to be carrying the ball, or is that a pre-snap read or his own decision after the snap?
Yeah, great question. So naturally we have plays where it could be the fullback, it could be the quarterback, or it could be distributed, usually in the way of a pitch to somebody else. We have plays where it could be a handoff or it could be a quarterback keep. We have a few, not many, that are predetermined carries that involve the quarterback. Do you want that number at 30? I think that would be difficult to do week in, week out, to be right. That's why you're asking, you know. Yet there are some weeks where I think he embraces it, which makes you think. I remember a little bit quarterback the day after you'd play. You'd say, oh, okay, I feel a little bit in my shoulders and my ribs, and there are a couple of hits in particular that you took. You say, yeah, okay. Being able to move around here a little bit for the next 36 hours, it's not easy to do. If he had his choice, and this happens at most places, your quarterback's in a green jersey or a different colored jersey. If he had his choice, he wouldn't wear that shirt.
Okay. And to kind of paraphrase, after the game, you praised his toughness, and then you said the other stuff he'll learn from or he'll get better. I assume the other stuff meaning, some turnovers. And obviously the fumbles, you're not going to learn.
He's going to, absolutely.
But I guess as you bring him along, how do you encourage the aggressiveness and, flourishing the full skill set while also, knowing when to pull back?
You want it. If you're a race car driver, probably the greatest way to learn around those laps is going as fast as you can in traffic. If you're a baseball player, sure, throw me some lollipops when it comes to batting practice. But at bats, live at bats, or just instantly, you got to be able to see, is that ball about ready to sizzle my hands off, or can I find the threads to realize there might be a little break in a curve or a slider where I better have the barrel ready. Swing, baby.
Okay. And, facing Kenny Matalolo again, what does that bring to the matchup, just knowing that the head coach on the other side knows your program so well?
He certainly does. And yet we kind of know them a little bit too. Obviously we have a ton of, enormous respect for the job that just tremendous football coach. And I think by and large, they should. His guys know just the commitment that he makes to help them as human beings, in addition to being really, really good players and good teams. has always been really, really strong that way of building units. Now, for about 60 minutes there, I mean, you want to ram into each other's head as hard as you possibly can.
Back to Liam, just understanding the realities of college football. Do you have to recruit your own player a little bit when someone clearly is going to have that much value if he stays in your program?
I won't do that. I hope not. I think what we owe each player, each member of our program, is to do everything we can where they flourish and grow. Now, is competitively their football, their development a part of it? It is. Is it academically or even educationally to make sure that they are really expanding themselves? Most certainly, but most of all, as a human being. We're here to build men and women at the Air Force Academy. And they get every bit of us that way. And that's where our focus, that's where our energy, that's where our commitment is. So anything that doesn't contribute to that, I mean, you can't discuss or whatever, I got it. But that's what we're doing.
Okay. And just real quick, the Army game stuff before the game in the tunnel, was there any repercussions from that internally or from league office or anything like that?
Not that I've ever heard anything at all. No, sir.
Okay.
I think it's clear to all of us you're a very confident, competitive guy. Yet the numbers and the production that you have put out there is well beyond, I think, what quarterbacks in your position have done right out of the gate. Have you surpassed the expectations that you had for yourself when you were going to be given your shot?
I think definitely I didn't know what to expect coming into this year. I just wanted to compete and keep getting work in, and I think that I expected, with the guys around me, that there was potential to have a great year, especially on the offense. There's great guys, great seniors, great linemen that are there to help the quarterback position. And so I think going into this year, whoever's back there had an opportunity to use those guys to have a great year and be able to put up numbers that I have. And so I think that going into it, I didn't have huge expectations, but I knew that there was definitely an opportunity to be had with the guys around us and the position our coaches put us in to put up those numbers and have a good productive year.
Have you been able to wrap your head around what you have done with the 5 straight 100-yard games? No one had ever done that. I mean, you could go the list of quarterbacks that have played here that are on the Mount Rushmore, and they didn't do it. The 200, 100 games that in the same conversation as Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott. Have you been able to wrap your head around that you are in those conversations like that?
I mean, I guess it kind of came to a surprise, I guess. I obviously knew that I was doing well, and I guess I felt like what I was doing was just expected, and just being a competitor, I knew that it was my job to go and give us the best possible chance to win a game, and what comes from it is doing well in those games. And I guess as I look back on it, I think that I was more focused on being able to just use those guys around me, like I said, and they've helped me with those stats. And so I don't think it's just on me. It's on those guys and the linemen that are there to block for me, and that helps me with running the ball down the field, and then the receivers and the tailbacks and all those guys that are catching the ball and making plays afterwards have done a tremendous amount of work to lead me to where I have been in those categories. So
the amount that you've had on your plate from a workload standpoint, the amount of carries, the amount of throws, the amount of touches that you do have and impact plays, when did you get your mind wrapped around and understand how much was going to be put on your shoulders, and could you mentally and physically stand up to that?
Yeah, I think from the very beginning of the year, it was clear that the quarterback position, we have a lot to deal with, whether that's getting a lot of carries, passing the ball, and then just operating the offense. I think it was clear that we have a big job, and it's our opportunity to operate efficiently. And so I think going into each week, it's our job to be effective in communication and then putting as much effort as you can into those games and into your practices, and that prepares you for taking on those heavy workloads.
Well, on that topic, I mean, I'm looking at your hands. It looks like to me like those are from face masks. Like that's contact. That's the same hand you're throwing with. Like, what is it like to have 26, 27 carries, take those kind of impacts, and be throwing the ball at the same time? Like, how do you manage that part of the workload?
I think it's just I think you look at a lot of guys here, and they're just extremely tough guys, and so looking at the seniors and the upperclassmen ahead of me, like seeing how much like stress they go through, whether it's military, school, and football, and being able to just respond and keep going and not be down on themselves or not be complaining. They just keep going day after day, and I really look up to them and just kind of model them and keep going no matter what cuts or scrapes you might get. You know, you always have another week to prepare and get better, and so I think if I can just keep putting out for the team, and I'll get over these cuts eventually, and just keep working hard, and it'll be beneficial for the team, and they can look at me, and if they see I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep pushing, then they'll do the same for me.
You know, a lot of, the decision making, to keep the ball falls on you. Like, is that ever, are you ever aware of, hey, just for my own sake, I need to probably distribute the ball? Or is it just always, here's an extra yard, I'm just going to keep it and take it?
I think a lot of it is just being able to make my reads, and depending on the defense, just seeing if where the number one or number two is, and attacking the defense aggressively. And in some cases that means keeping the ball. In other cases that means ditching out and letting your guys make the plays that they can make. And so it's kind of in the moment where you're just trusting your practice and falling back on the training that you have, and being able to be aggressive while also being smart about what you do with the ball.
And then obviously a lot of talk is about all the positives you've done this year. When you evaluate the things that have gone wrong, like how are you weighing, the value of being aggressive and playing loose versus, pulling back at times, trying, to reduce the turnovers a little bit?
Yeah, I think definitely like it's easy to kind of get your head wrapped around all the good stuff, but I think that like looking back at last game with the 3 turnovers, I think that was a big reason of maybe why the game turned out that way. And so I think it's my job to be smarter with the ball, especially being the quarterback, and kind of evaluating those risks and rewards with maybe a deep ball or those turnovers. And so I think what it really comes down to is being like a critic of yourself and being hard on yourself, and kind of understanding that you may have some good plays and or be putting up some numbers, but it's also important to get better, and you can't be stuck in this kind of stalemate of just relying on your old like play to make up for the future. And so you just got to keep getting better each week, and like being a young guy, that means learning from my game experience and being able to reduce those turnovers and maybe those mistakes, the wrong reads in future games.
So I do want to take it back a little bit. So what I was told from your dad, you were at Harvard and Penn was the front runner, and you kind of surprised everybody by saying, I'm going to commit to Air Force. Like, is that right? And if so, like, what clicked in your mind? What made you make that call?
I think just the structure of the Air Force Academy and the hardworking guys. Like I looked at, we've had a tight end from Grandview. That's where I went to high school, who is a junior here at Air Force, and he's kind of talked about the rigorous schedule that he has, but also the payoff it has when he's building his character and the guys around him. And so after talking with him and seeing all the other opportunities I had, I think that the Air Force Academy had what I wanted in terms of structure, the hardworking guys around you, and I think when you surround yourself with those guys, you just get better yourself. And I really appreciated about that place, and the coaches, they were supportive, and they weren't pressuring or anything, and I really enjoyed that. And I'd say that my time here has been what I expected in terms of being pushed, but also put in an opportunity where I can grow, and I enjoyed that really much.
Have you ever think that tight end? Because Coach was just saying that he saw you play in high school because he was there to scout the tight end, and then of course you have a game that puts you on the radar, and that happens so often in scouting. But were you aware of that? And do you just realize how many weird things had to fall into place for you to be here?
Yeah, I think definitely a lot of things happen for a reason, and so him being in that situation has helped me out, and I understand that, and I just think that what I can make of that opportunity is gonna be beneficial, and so I'm just keep working hard, and we're gonna keep trying to win games and put together an operating offense together.
Okay. And then college football landscape is what it is. The rules are what they are. Like, what decision-making process are you going to go through after this season when you decide to stay, or have you already made that decision? Like, what factors are going to be weighed?
I think right now I'm just kind of focused on the season and trying to win games and get better myself, and so I haven't put too much thought into that. So I'm trying to focus on, what can I do to get myself better and put my teams in opportunities to win right now.
As a young quarterback, you obviously have to go out there and prove yourself, and you got older guys that have been here a while. When did you feel like you had earned not only their respect, but their belief in you that you could be the guy?
I think just over the summer, whether it was going out with the guys and playing catch or stuff like that, but also kind of it's about talking to them in the locker room or seeing them around and being able to say hi to them and know their name. I think it was important to me to kind of get that connection with the older guys, especially because they're the ones that are in front of me blocking or catching the ball and making plays for me. And so I think when it came to the season, I felt as though I have connected them with them pretty well, and we were still in a quarterback battle, and I think everyone around us was supportive of both of us, and no matter who was behind operating the offense, they were there to support both of us. And so I think at the beginning of the year we were ready to go, and how it worked out is I got the starting spot during Hawaii, and just being able to operate the offense without a hitch because those guys around you trusted us and trusted me to do the job.
Away from sports, what have been some interesting moments you've had at the academy, between basic training, survival training, anything on the hill? Like, what kind of stands out when you tell people about what you've done here as a cadet?
I think what stands out is the opportunities you get here as a cadet, and what I didn't realize is how immersed you get into all of the Air Force things, whether that it's survival training, you're out in the woods kind of surviving on your own essentially. Powered flight over the summer, I got to get in a plane and fly it with another person. I thought that was pretty cool, and so going into it, I didn't know a whole lot about it, but especially coming from a family where I didn't have a military background, and so it was a lot of new stuff for me, and so I've just been trying to embrace all the opportunities I can here, like flying, and embrace the training that they have for you, and it really opens up a lot of opportunities in the future. And then when I'm telling my family what I'm doing, they're ecstatic, and they may not know exactly what's going on, but just trying to tell them how many cool things I get to do each day.
Is flying something you would want to pursue?
It definitely is. It's interesting, especially going to the Air Force Academy. A lot of the people, the main reason they come is to end up flying in the future, and I think that's something that I would like to do and continue to pursue, however that may be.
Going to another, team that passes the ball a lot, like you guys had in that stretch early, how do you feel like the defense has changed since that stretch of Utah State, Boise State, Hawaii, in these 4 weeks since then or whatever? How have you grown?
We've definitely learned what we're good at and what we're not good at scheme-wise. Just trying to put our guys in the best positions based on what they've shown us the last few games. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the best answer I can give without giving away too much.
Yeah, the guys in the secondary, you've been there as a sophomore where you had to take your lumps a little bit. I mean, you had a really good year, but how do you think they have grown? Just as having the experience, just knowing how to adjust on the fly a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say I'd even add a little bit to it. They're a year younger than I was. You know what I mean? I was at the prep school too. But no, these guys they've taken it on the chin. They're doing a good job just growing and getting better. Focusing every day on what they got to do, and just the main thing is just growth. Just trying to keep moving forward and just trying to get better.
And having played in so many close games, how do you feel like that kind of helps the growth of a team when every single snap has been significant?
I feel like the close ones hurt a lot more to me personally, just because like you know how close you were, you know that one snap either way you could have changed the outcome of the game. And it's honestly, it's good to recognize that as a young guy, being like, if I had better eyes on this one play, or if I, had a better step here, I kind of got out of shape in this play. It helps you a lot to just make sure that you're on every play. Whereas like, there's a few times my sophomore year, like we were talking about, how I just kind of came off the ball a little soft, and it's a little less consequential as a D tackle. So I got away with it a little bit, but yeah.
And what are your big picture thoughts, with 4 games left in your career? I assume, I don't know what might come next for you, but like, how do you kind of soak all this in, and what's the mentality?
I'm hoping to play at the next level, but that's, not focused completely on that right now. Just trying to win the last 4, go to a bowl game, enjoy the brotherhood that I have, just try to get closer with the guys and hopefully set them up better for the future.
Okay. We just had Liam in the room for the first time. How it seems pretty obvious the team has embraced him, at least the offensive side. How does the defense view him and his just
No. I think I can speak for the defense. We love that guy. He's so funny, man. He was one of those guys where he was kind of like a quiet grinder type guy, like during the off season, during spring and stuff like that, where it was just like he was kind of like. And now that he's come into this role, he's a funny dude, man. He's awesome. He's awesome.
You say funny. How would you kind of?
He just has a great sense of humor. The way he does stuff, I don't know. It's just little things here and there. It's just he's a funny guy.
And I guess what do you want to show? Especially if you're thinking next level, like what can you do over the next 4 games to help Air Force win? And also to kind of put yourself on a platform.
I got to pass rush my butt off these last few games for sure. That's number one. In our scheme, try not to do too much. Still corral the quarterback, control him. Just show. Got to play this. I got to play hard. Got to play fast, and try to do this. Just impact the game.
And physically, and you've battled a lot of injuries over the years. How are you feeling now?
We're definitely in the dog days of the season, but I feel better than I have the last few years. I kind of learned how to take those injuries and create better habits from them, is what I'll say. Yeah.
As a whole, as a defense, a lot of times this year, you're losing guys. Seems like you're adding guys. Levi Brown, Zach Jekyll. Like, is that kind of the case?
Yeah, it's interesting. We're getting these guys back. It's good to see. I think we the more we can keep guys fresh and keep guys rotating, I think the better. And these are all highly capable guys, so it's exciting to get these guys back.